In this video right here, I'm going to tell you why making 10K a month online made me miserable. For context, I've been in high ticket sales for the last couple of years. I've been able to quit my job, go all in on making money online, travel the world, make money from wherever I want, right? I did the whole laptop lifestyle, all of that shit, right? Why did making 10K a month make me miserable? Simple fact was that, when you get into high ticket sales, you end up getting on offers with companies, right? Who are selling a product, they have a team, they have a system, they expect you to do team meetings. And I found that I actually had a conversation with my first mentor. At the time, I wanted to be a full-time closer, and there just wasn't enough sales calls on the calendar for me to close consistently. And I said to him, look, I want to make more money. I want to be a closer. I want to be the guy who's, shooting the ball in the hoop, the striker, the number 9. And I feel like I'm not getting that here, but I don't want to leave. I think I'm going to find another offer. He said, totally cool. Do your thing, man. Respect it. I then found another offer. I found multiple offers, actually. I bounced around different companies and ended up finding a pretty good company that were doing around 300K per month. And I was getting on sales calls, and it was honestly the easiest thing in the world because these prospects were like super bought in. They'd been warmed up for years. They were upsell sales. Like, these leads were so easy to close, right? And I would end up getting on calls with them, and they would just buy like 6K deals, just like boom, 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 boom. I was just piffing like multiple times a day for weeks, right? And this happened for like a period of like 3 or 4 months where I made a good amount of money, right? I hit the elusive 10K per month mark, but I was deeply unhappy because I felt like I wasn't enjoying it anymore. Right? I think something that we forget is that the reason we want to even make money online is for freedom, right? Is for have control over what we do and over ourselves. And I feel like when I was making that amount of money, I just didn't have that. And I think that's the first moment I realized that money doesn't truly fulfill me, because I was getting on sales calls to prospects genuinely not motivated, right? I genuinely was like, yeah, I'm going to make a good amount of money here, but I don't want to be here. I'd rather be somewhere else. I'd rather be living my life. In fact, I remember even when I was in Croatia, I spent a week in Croatia with one of my close buddies here. The whole week I was just on calls, on the phone, like all day long, not wanting to be there. And I made money. I paid back the whole trip in like, 1 or 2 calls, but didn't want to be there at all. And I realized that, for me to become the man that I want to be, it's going to take more than just making money, right? It's going to take more presence. It's going to take working on my personal brand. It's going to take me developing my inner work, right? So I can document more. I can speak better, speak with more charisma, more character. I was making 10K a month, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to maybe half, maybe even take a 4x hit here on my income, but it's going to be worth it in the end, because I know that I can use this time, save 20, 30, 40 hours of my week, putting that into building my own brand, building my own self as a person. And it was the best decision I made of 2024, because it was after that point I realized the importance of changing the internal, right? It's so common for us to go chasing these tiny objects, right? Like, I want the 6-pack, I want the 10K month, I want a 20K month, I want the followers, or I want the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the husband, the wife, whatever it is. So easy for us to want and demand these material things, but it's like the universe does something crazy. We want these things, they just seem to elude us, no matter how hard we try, no matter how much we want them. So that was the best thing I did. The best decision I made of all of 2024 was reducing my income and focusing on my inner work. And that's when I also realized, speaking to a lot of sales reps, training a lot of sales reps, one thing I often tell them is that when you're finding an offer, always ask yourself the question, if you don't see yourself working with this business for the rest of your life, why work with them for one day? Because that's what it is, right? Sure, you can stack and bounce around different offers, or just sit on 10, 15, 20K months and then leave. But, if you want something more fulfilling, then that's not going to cut it. I went through that same journey. I've had many other people tell me that they've gone through similar journeys. So yeah, making 10K must be miserable. I remember getting on call, and I was so miserable. I did not want to be there at all. Felt like a job. That's what it felt like, really and truly. It felt like I was giving away my time for someone who didn't really have my best interests, aside from financial interests. And so I also realized that I don't just want to make money, but I want to be a complete man. I want to be a more mature person. I want to learn about life. The money's always going to be there for me. I'm 20 years old. If you're watching this right now, maybe you're in your late teens, maybe in your early teens, maybe in your late 20s, maybe in your early 20s, or 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is. We still have time. The money's always going to be there on the table, because you can make money very, very quickly. I went from working a job, not really having anything, to making 5 to 10K a month in a very quick space of time. I'm talking months. And I've seen many, many, many other people go from making 0 to 20K a month in 6 months. So sales is very, very good to get into for that. But for fulfillment, for what I'm really looking for, self-mastery as a man, if you were to call it that, that's the name that you want to give it, it's going to take something more. So yeah, just bear that in mind and do the inner work. Do the inner work, because most people don't do that. And you can tell. You can tell they don't do it because you can look them dead in the eye and you can see at the other end that this person is just quite young, they're immature. And it's not a bad thing. It's just not what I want to be. I want to be something more. Hopefully this video has been useful in a lot of ways, in many ways, in some more ways even. Sharing my journey in sales, how I was miserable making 10K a month, and how the happiest I actually was when I was making 0, because I was growing. I fell in love with the journey. I fell in love with the process. That's a whole other tangent in itself, right? Maybe I'll make a separate video on that. Hopefully this one was useful for you. We are a few days in a row now. What are we on Saturday? We're on 5 days in a row, some shit. Let's keep it going. We're not fucking stopping, man. 2025, it's our year. Let's fucking go.